There's a new production at the Arvada Center that is getting rave reviews. The Mountaintop is performed by two actors on one set and imagines what Martin Luther King Jr. did the night before he died. Cedric Mays, who plays the role of Martin Luther King Jr., joins us along with director Gavin Mayer. Nice to see you, gentlemen.
Thanks for letting us be here.
So, Cedric, this is very interesting because it's set on the day or the night before Martin Luther King Jr. dies.
That's right.
So does that, tell me a little bit about what's going on. Does that put you in a difficult place to portray this character?
Well, sure. I think he's just given that famous speech. I've been to the mountaintop. You know, a lot of people think that's this premonition of his death. So, but what we know historically is that on that day he was very sick. He didn't want to go to do this this speech. You know, he had to be basically roused by his best friend Ralph Abernathy to come down to the hall to give this speech. So when the play begins, you know, we see a man who is tired, who is exhausted, who's coming back to his motel room, and he still has more work to do. The night isn't over for him, so he calls down to get a cup of coffee to try to finish the speech, and then this maid shows up, and the play gets rolling.
Yeah, oh my goodness. And what do you like best about being involved in the Mountaintop?
Well, you know, I love Westerns. I'm a big Western fan. I love the idea of someone who was at his height 5 years ago. You see, King wasn't that popular in '68. You know, he spoke out against the Vietnam War.
Right.
He's having this poor people campaign. He's doing a lot of things that were a lot of people like, hey man, stay in your lane. Your lane is civil rights. Your lane is be a preacher. And what I think is interesting is that we see a King who is sort of unpopular and trying to get that popularity back. You know, the Black Panthers are the sexy ones now. You know,
so there were challenges.
Sure. You have your Stokely Carmichael. Those guys are the young guys who are the nice, hot guys that everyone wants to be. Now King is trying to find that audience again. And so I think that's really interesting. That's really dramatic.
And what about your co-star? Tell me a little bit about her role.
Well, Betty Hart, who plays Camay. Camay is the motel maid. And she comes up and she's younger. You know, she's vibrant. She's this woman who is basically, who's saying, hey man, we can do more stuff. Get some guns, kill some people, you know? But King's like, whoa, wait a minute. We got to do this. We're going to do it the right way, which his right way, if you will. So the role of Camay is sort of that ebb and flow. This person to bounce these ideas off of, you know, a young person.
Interesting. My goodness, this sounds like such a challenge as a director, too. You've been involved in so many different productions at the Arvada Center, and has there been anything as challenging as the Mountaintop yet?
There really hasn't. You know, the great thing about the Mountaintop is that it's such a beautiful piece of theater, and I think it's so thought-provoking, and that's what drew me to the project, is the whole idea of being able to do a play about such an iconic man, and imagining what he was like behind closed doors was really exciting. And also the message of the play was just so intriguing to me that that's really why I wanted to tackle it. You know, this whole idea of passing the baton, and how any of us, how King was an ordinary man who was turned into an icon, but how any of us can be a Martin Luther King if we just have the courage of our convictions to actually stand up for what we believe in.
That's so true. And to add to all of the challenges that you just talked about, there are only two actors on the stage the entire time. Did that change your directing style at all?
It presented some great challenges. I'd never done a two-person show before, and it all takes place just in the hotel room, and so it creates some great challenges. But the thing about doing a show with just two people is that it created the opportunity for some great conversation. We had a chance just to sit and talk and really kind of be existential about how we thought about what we thought about Martin Luther King and what we thought about the play and what we were trying to accomplish. And sometimes when you do shows with bigger casts, you don't have that opportunity, so that was certainly a luxury.
And I think that's probably what a lot of people are going to walk away with after seeing it. It's thought-provoking. How has it changed your life portraying Martin Luther King Jr.? Well,
I think that the thing that I take away from it the most is possibly the idea that we're all human. You know, we all want to do great things. I hope that we all have enough of ego about ourselves to want to do something in our lives with our lives. And no matter what that thing is, you're going to face challenges because we are human beings. And I think King was no different. You know, he had the same fears that anyone else would have when they're trying to lead something, when they're trying to start something.
Am I doing this right?
Am I doing this right? Exactly. Yeah. Am I appeasing the people I need to appease? You know, am I serving my God the way that I should be serving my God? You know, so these are human things and they're human thoughts, and you're always going to be second guessing yourself. But when it comes down to it, you have to make a choice, you commit to it, and you go forward.
And it just proves one man or one woman could change the world.
Of course, absolutely.
Absolutely, it does. And what are you hoping the audience walks away with?
That's an interesting question. I personally, as Cedric, I never asked that question of myself, what they walk away with. I say that only because I think as an actor, my job is to create an emotional environment. And hopefully the audience comes and meets me and the play where it is. And where they walk away from, I'm not sure, but hopefully they walk away feeling moved.
And that's a good point. I have 15 seconds. There are talkbacks at the end.
Yes.
After every show. And we're finding that it's a show that people really want to process.
Definitely.
And talk about afterwards.
Well, it's wonderful that you're doing it. Thank you for giving us a sneak peek, and congratulations to
so
all
much.
three of you.
Thank you. Yes, yes, yes.
You can get your tickets today for the Mountaintop, playing at the Arvada Center's Black Box Theater through April 17th. The award-winning play imagines a scenario portraying Martin Luther King Jr. more as a man than a myth. Performances run about an hour and 40 minutes. If you'd like to get to know the actors, well, you can join them for insider talkbacks following each performance. For ticket information, please visit arvadacenter.org. That's arvadacenter.org, or call the ticket office 720-898-7200.